Good evening, everybody. Today is the advertised time and advertised place for the Thursday, August 1st, 2024 Planning Board meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. We have no public hearing tonight, so we're going to go into discussion items. Number one is Prisco's Calverton Acres with Matt Charters.
Okay, I'll invite Tom Walpart from Young and Young to come up to the table. Distributed staff reports to the board last week. This is a two-lot minor subdivision to subdivide about just over a 2-acre parcel into 2 lots. Both will be the same size, 44,948 square feet. Lot 1, if the board is familiar, will contain what is the wine country deli and a pre-existing mobile home, and Lot 2 is currently in ag production. It's nursery stock. In terms of location, this is in the Rural Corridor Zoning Use District, located approximately 900 feet to the east of the Middle Country Road Edwards Avenue intersection. It's a mix of single-family residences, commercial uses, the Riverhead Charter Schools across the street somewhat. So the Calverton, the Pods location is across the street. There's a gas station. Also ag production in the area. In terms of SECRA, this is unlisted action. We do have a resolution on to classify this as unlisted without coordinated review and issue a negative declaration. In terms of the existing improvements, the property was issued a letter of pre-existing use in 2009 for a 1-story wood frame retail deli and a 12 by 64 mobile home. There's also COs for each one of those from 1981, from 1981 for both of them. So they have a letter of pre-existing use and also have COs, which is a little bit different. But a couple pictures of the staff report. I'm sure everyone's very familiar with the area. In terms of zoning compliance, mistake on my part, they do need to go to the ZBA for lot width. For lot 1, they have a lot width of 99.53 feet, where 200 is required, and for lot 2, it's 181 feet, 0.71 feet, where 200 required. So I did have a resolution on to schedule a public hearing. Recommend the board tables that.
Does that, because it was pre-existing, they still
So
have to
they
go to
the lot width, I mean, they couldn't have met it anyway, but now it's becoming more non-conforming, so they need to go to the ZBA to get it approved. So we'll table the resolution to schedule the public hearing, and if they're successful at ZBA, they can come back. In terms of rec fees, if lot 2 is improved with a residence, they will need to pay the $5,000 rec fee. Water district, this is in extension 86. The plans have been referred. There's a 12-inch main in the street. Obviously, we'll need comments from the water district. It's been referred to the town engineer. He had no comments. At this time, I did get correspondence from him last week. Nothing yet from the fire marshal. This was sent to the Riverhead Fire District. No comments to date. I did hear from Tom. This is groundwater management zone 8, you said?
No, 3.
3?
3.
All right. We might have had an issue in our GIS, or it might be a typo on my part. Obviously, before we issue final approval, health department will have to approve it. DOT, they do have the recommendation. They'd like to see a common driveway off of 25. They did give the standard sheet for the applicant to review for both lots. And that's pretty much it. So we will table the public hearing resolution and secret neg deck for unlisted action.
Anything else, Tom?
No, I have no issues.
Matt, one question. On lot 1,
Yes.
would they be able to build another house on that or no?
I don't think so. No. I would say no.
Well, how about if they took down the mobile home and then, or not?
So it's a tricky discussion, only because in RLC there's no limit on maximum number of uses. Actually, in our code anywhere it doesn't say that. So it's really by lot coverage. Generally speaking, I would say if it's going to be single family, that should be the principal use. It's not likely that they can do another house. I mean, there'd be a flow issue with the health department anyway, probably between the mobile home and the deli that's there.
Right, right.
So if they wanted to put a house on, I mean, Tom could probably speak to that. They'd probably have to buy a plan variance credit, but I don't think our code would allow it.
Yeah, on a 1-acre lot
Yeah.
in zone 3.
Because a lot 2, you could put a house on lot 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a permitted use.
right, okay.
Anybody else?
No, it's pretty clear.
Okay, Tommy, thank you.
Good, thank you.
All right, item number 2, 230 West Main Street Minor Subdivision with Greg.
I will have Matt Ingber, he's the attorney for the applicant, so I will invite him up for the discussion. All right, good evening, everybody. So this is a two-lot minor subdivision application. The subject property is located at 230 West Main Street. It's located on the north side of the road. It is in between the Seafield Services building and the Safe Light Auto Glass property. It is a 14,557 square foot parcel of land currently in the Downtown Center 3 or the DC 3 zoning use district. The site is presently improved with a two-story frame building, which was most recently a law office of Victoria Campos. What this minor subdivision application is seeking to do is subdivide the property and create two lots. Lot number 1 would have a size of 7,153 square feet. Lot 2 would have a size of 7,404 square feet. The application does require zoning board of appeals relief for lot width at the street frontage. Right now, both lots are proposed at 45.11 feet, with the minimum required is 50 feet. When we had met with the applicant prior to the subdivision, there was a question of whether to proceed and make one lot conforming. So you'd have one lot where it was 50 feet, the other lot would be 40 feet. The recommendation to staff, it seemed better to just split it down the middle and just split the difference between two lots. So they will need ZBA prior to any planning board approval. One of the biggest things and the biggest aspects that I think we need to capture during this minor subdivision is how the lot would be developed the two lots would be developed in the future. What I'm recommending is future cross-access between lots 1 and lot 2, and then a shared parking agreement. Based on the lot size, the width, traffic flow, if each lot were developed sort of independently, it just wouldn't make sense to have, two curb cuts right next to each other. So it would make sense based on the location of the existing building to have a common parking lot on the back of the property, cross-access across both lots. We could even, as we move towards any approvals, we can consider having, like one way in, one way out, rather than have multiple curb cuts with two-way traffic.
That would be on the center line.
Well, again, so right now, there's no...
You built it that way.
Yeah, correct. So there's no development proposed, it's just a minor subdivision application. But we don't want to back ourselves into a corner and sort of, prohibit orderly development of those two parcels.
What about on lot 2? Are there any other locations that we should have cross easements, like on the north side or the east side?
So I also do recommend cross-access between both the properties to the east and the west. Now, I think in one of my pictures in the staff report, I took a picture from the Safe Light Auto Glass. So figure 7, which is on page 5 of my report, I was standing in the back parking lot of Safe Light Auto Glass, probably right around here, taking a picture looking towards the southwest. That grade at the Safe Light Auto Glass is pretty much on grade with the existing site. You may run into an issue when these sites get developed on the west side with the Seafield Services. There's about a 4-foot retaining wall here, so the Seafield parking lot in the back is about 4 feet below that. I think that will probably present itself as an issue somewhere down the road during redevelopment. But I think if we have future cross-accesses between both lot 1 and 2, as well as the neighboring lots to the east, west, and north, that's something that we can develop, we can identify and address at a future time when development comes in.
Do you need their permission?
So, For the,
Especially Safeway. I was there, I walked it, and there's parking back there.
correct. So when we take any action, when we review a site plan or a subdivision, when we file a future cross-access,
Right.
essentially, the owners of Lot 1 and Lot 2 would file a future cross-access on a specifically defined area on the property. Obviously, you can't compel a neighboring property owner to force access, but there's a covenant that's filed on the property that says, at such future time that the site is developed, they are required to push through. Obviously, the neighboring property owner at the time of development would have to agree to that. But it just makes sense. We always look for connectivity, shared parking agreements. This property is not within the parking district, so any
Oh.
development,
I thought it was. My understanding, it was in the parking district.
I believe it was adjacent. I can confirm
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I didn't think they were, but I will double check and confirm that. Again, just, the future cross-access is just a good planning tool to allow for reasonable and orderly development. Beyond that, again, like I said, there's no immediate development proposed, so it's just a two-lot minor subdivision. Do have a resolution on to assume, to classify it as unlisted, issue a negative declaration, as there's no significant negative impacts proposed from it. I have drafted a denial letter and given it to Mr. Ingber. They can proceed with a ZBA application. If they're successful with the ZBA, we can come back, have a public hearing, and move towards approvals.
Just a question on, what is to the north? What is that curb that they're showing?
So that's the Henry Perkins, the old Henry Perkins Hotel. It's part of the parking lot for that site.
Oh, okay,
Right now, it's the Concern for Independent Living, but it's that parking lot to the north.
okay.
Greg, the problem I have with this is that it's only 14,000 square feet. It's actually less than a third of an acre total. And if he's going to need a variance to go from 50 to 45 feet, so now it's going to be less than a sixth of an acre. And are we creating more variances that each lot will have to go through because it's such a small size? I understand a center easement to get to a back parking area, but it just seems that we're increasing his value with two lots instead of one. And eventually, there may be more variances that he's going to need because of such small size.
So, I mean, the minimum lot size in DC3 is 5,000 square feet. So both of the proposed lots
Right, okay,
comply with
right.
the dimensional regulations in terms of overall lot size.
Okay,
And then, I mean, when you speak about variances are, our dimensional regulations are based on a percentage of a lot size. So whether it's a 15,000 square foot lot or a 7,000 square foot lot, if you're allowed, let's say,
Right, so he's still within the
if you're allowed a 10% build out. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, if they wanted to redevelop this site, they could redevelop a 15,000 square foot site.
right,
In
right.
the future, someone who purchases a 7,400 square foot lot will be able to develop the site commensurate with those dimensional regulations. So if whatever the lot coverage may be, the maximum building lot coverage with sewer is 50%, maximum impervious is 80. So I mean, it's all proportional to however big your lot size is.
Now, have you done a lot of shared parking? Because I know people that do run into problems with shared parking, depending on what kind of businesses each lot has. Do you designate a certain amount if you did do that? You understand my question? Just-
Yeah, so this is, I had kind of considered, just because we're dealing with just a subdivision and we don't want to speculate too much, I'd sort of thought of that. I mean, I don't know if it would be feasible to see like a conceptual
Right,
plan
give us
with
an idea.
just showing like, okay, here's a potential building footprint, here's a potential part, like,
Right.
again, I'm not saying a fully engineered plan, but just demonstrating something where, all right, let's see let's see what a 50% building would be like with commensurate parking.
Right.
I don't know how feasible that would be, if that would be out of the realm of possibility, how quickly something like that could be put together, but just for the board's knowledge that you could see that the site could work
Right, right.
if either site were developed in the future.
Because in the back, it goes from 90 feet all the way down to 60 foot in width.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you go for parking just along the back, you're only allowed 6 6 parking spots. You know, and I'm sure that there'll be extra space, but unless we have no idea what's gonna be built. You know.
So that is a very good point. And when when we think about redevelopment, having the shared parking, so I mean, suppose down the road if Lot 2 wanted to come in order to, if we consider making, like a one-way access here with like a circular driveway, it would almost necessitate the development of the rear portion of Lot 1. So maybe that's if the board maybe wants to see a conceptual, like a rough sketch of what a developed site could look like to make sure that it would function
Well, I
properly.
just don't want to put any undue burden on an applicant who doesn't have to provide that information right now.
Okay.
If you come back for a site plan,
Right.
you're gonna have to address all those issues. I just don't want to see them spend money that they don't need to spend.
I
Yeah,
think,
that would be fine, that,
In
yeah.
the site
I think a
plan.
conceptual plan might be in order, just to make sure, just to see what it might develop out to.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, it makes sense, buildings would be developed on the front, parking in the rear. It's just a matter of, how wide it is in total, how many spots you could fit, what types of uses could go there. To Ken's point, we want to make sure that we're not sort of creating a situation where we're going to necessitate a variance if they go to develop a site.
And a center easement, how wide does that have to be?
So the
I'm just saying for both.
future cross access, I would say, without knowing how the site's going to be developed, I would say that future cross access should be recorded along the length of the property,
Right.
proposed property boundary.
Definitely.
So what is the rest of the board in terms of rough conceptual site plan? Would they like to see some type
Just a
of?
subdivision.
All right,
The site plan comes in later.
all right.
Which is fine.
All right, so I think we're good on that. All right, so in that case, I do have a resolution on for SECRA, and the applicant can proceed with the ZBA.
Great. Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Item number 3 on the agenda is the Atrium Cafe site plan with Heather.
We do have the owner of the property here. If you could just state your name for the record.
Daniel Zagorski.
All right, and for the record, Heather Chojnowski, planner. So this is a site plan application seeking approval to construct a 2,382 square foot restaurant along with associated site improvements, including parking and paving, on-site drainage, sanitary systems, site lighting, and landscaping. The board is probably very familiar with the site. It's directly behind the Meeting House Deli. It's at 206 Edgar Avenue, so about 150 feet south of the intersection of Main Road and Edgar Avenue in Aquabog. It's a 17,311 square foot parcel. It's currently vacant and wooded, and it's within the Hamlet Center zoning use district, more particularly identified as Suffolk County Tax Map number 685-3-79.1. And I will note that the intersection of Edgar Avenue and Main Road is already improved with a traffic signal and crosswalks. The permitted use, the use that's proposed is permitted within the Hamlet Center zoning use district. The restaurant is proposed to have 34 indoor seats and 8 outdoor seasonal seats with a full basement. The basement would be used for storage, walk-in refrigerator, a walk-in freezer. The kitchen, dining area, barista station, and the retail waiting area, along with 2 bathrooms, are located on the first floor. And then the site improvements include the outdoor seating area, paving, parking, lighting, landscaping, and drainage. Let me just see. In terms of SECRA, the proposed action is a type 2 action. No further environmental review is required. For parking and access, I will note the current plan shows 20 stalls. Based on the number of seats, 14 are required pursuant to Town Code 301-231. All of the stalls are compliant. They're shown as 10 by 20 on the site plan. They also show 2 accessible parking stalls and an 8-foot wide accessible aisle. And there is an existing crosswalk from Aquabog Elementary School, which is directly across Edgar Avenue to the west. And it terminates on the east side of the subject parcel. It's basically a crosswalk to nowhere. So in town code, walkways should be provided for safe and convenient pedestrian access from sidewalks to storefront entries. So I would like to see a sidewalk across the parcel frontage,
Thank you.
especially because one of the, in the purpose and intent of Hamlet Center zoning, you want to make a pedestrian-friendly environment. There is no crosswalk that goes along the Meeting House Creek, the Meeting House Deli parcel, but maybe in the future, if they do some redevelopment, they can connect the sidewalks, and then you'll get that continuous pedestrian access right to the intersection of Main Road and Edgar Avenue. I will note that there's no proposed or future cross-access easement to the deli parcel. I'm not sure what the board feels, but I'm okay with not requiring future cross-access just because it doesn't seem that it would facilitate any ingress or egress from either site or impact traffic flow. Again, both properties have frontage along Edgar Avenue and they benefit from that existing traffic signal. And the deli also has an entrance on Main Road as well. So it just makes sense to have the traffic going on to Edgar Avenue from the restaurant to the light. It just seems safer. As I said, the site as it currently exists is entirely wooded. The parcel would be cleared in order to facilitate the development. I don't know if you saw the Suffolk County Planning Commission did come back with some comments. They found the site plan to be a matter for local determination, but they said where possible, existing vegetation should be preserved. I would at least like to see the large trees, healthy, large caliper-sized trees maybe identified and saved, with protection measures in place during construction. I will note that the submitted landscaping plan depicts a row of emerald green arborvitaes along the property lines and a 10-foot wide landscaped buffer area. This is required in order to protect neighborhood tranquility. So when a commercial property abuts residential properties, town codes 301, 307B, and 301, 236A, 2, and C2 detail that buffer requirement.
This lot is going to be totally developed, and it's got a lot of vegetation to start with. I'm surprised that they're not going to be able to save any trees.
Yeah, so I would suggest if they could save trees, particularly, along those, within
south
the
and
buffer
east,
area, maybe in addition to or instead of
That would
the
be-
evergreens.
A lot of the vegetation that's there, because I've walked the property several times, is small, scrubby. There are a couple trees. It's very overgrown with ivy that strangled a lot of the trees.
Yeah, there's one that's right on Edgar Avenue that looks pretty much
I
dead.
actually went there and tried to cut a lot of the ivy off to see if some of them were salvageable, because I want to save some of the big oaks that are there. There are a couple in the front, but that actually might impede on the
The sidewalk.
The sidewalk as well. Unless we
Yeah.
can build a sidewalk around it, I'm all for that.
Heather,
It's
do
something we
need-
can discuss with
Do
the
we
design
need to be
professionals.
concerned with the 100-foot and the 500-foot rule on this one?
In terms of the liquor authority, I don't know if they're gonna be serving alcohol or not. That's,
That was something that
because it's proximate to the school,
Yeah,
SLA probably
yeah.
wouldn't issue a full
It
liquor
affects
license.
your license.
if we were going to apply for anything, it would just be for probably like a wine license or something like that.
Beer, wine, and cider are allowed.
Oh, okay.
Alcohol is
It's the
not.
liquor license,
It's
it's
the
subject to the
From what I read.
200 and 500 foot rules. And
Right.
again, the SLA, if they were to make an application,
Right.
because of the proximity
It's a
to the
different
school, it
license,
would
right.
get denied.
Different license.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understood that it would be, obviously you can't serve alcohol on school hours, essentially.
Yeah.
That's someone told me, I don't know.
I don't know the
Really?
details of the liquor authority code, but it's
Yeah.
something that we can definitely look into.
Yeah.
All right, in terms of the remainder of the landscaping plan, there are some nice specimen plantings, limelight hydrangea, dogwood, weeping cherry. Again, you all know that I love landscaping, so I would love to see some more, maybe planting beds or additional shrubs instead of the grass areas, just because, we're trying to step away from fertilizer-dependent vegetation. Just a suggestion. Then the lighting plan, all of the submitted lighting fixtures are compliant with the dark skies code, as color, temperature, full cutoff. They're all 16 feet or less. We did receive some comments back. Again, I had noted the planning commission. The highway superintendent, noted that he had concern about parking while school is in operation, maintaining stormwater on site. The plans were since revised, so all stormwater is being maintained on site. And the revised plans are going to be referred to the engineering department. And then I will note that Town Code Section 289-14 prohibits parking on the east side of Edgar Avenue from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on school days. So the restaurant patrons would be parking in the parking lot, which has more than enough stalls per the amount of seats. That
Are you the owner or the contract vendee?
Both.
The other big thing is health department. I know that you and the design professional, Robert Hine, were going back and forth about the number of seats because partial Pine Barrens credits will be required in order to meet the sanitary density just based on the groundwater management zone and then the number of seats in the restaurant. So they'll obviously need that prior to any approvals. At this stage, I have a resolution on just to classify secret and schedule a public hearing. And other than that, I won't go through the entire staff report, but if the board has any specific questions.
Do you have any idea how many credits you're gonna need?
About a half, I think. That's what Robbie said.
Yeah, the design professional knows better. It looks like the maximum sanitary density allowed per the existing lot size is 238.2 gallons per day. And with the number of seats required, sanitary density is 380, so.
Is that 2 dumpsters, like one cardboard and garbage, or am I looking at 2 dumpsters?
It just shows a location for the dumpsters. I don't think it details what's going into each, but I did note that they'll need to be fenced and screened for town code.
And yeah, I would assume the garbage dumpster.
Yeah.
There's town water there, right, Heather?
Yes, I did refer the plans to the water district, waiting on comments, obviously. And again, as far as the sanitary system, they'll probably have to install a grease trap, well, per health department standards.
So you're not looking for any drive-up windows, so there's no outside speakers
No,
or anything like that?
no, nothing like that.
Is the picture that we have here is with the colors and the stonework on the bottom, is that actually how it's gonna?
Yeah, that's
gonna
the
depict
Yeah,
it?
and-
actual depiction.
It'll go to the ARB at their August meeting, and Robert will probably come in with some better elevations, material samples. That'll all be looked at.
Okay.
Is it metal roof in the entire building, or is it just on the overhang?
That's just on the overhangs, yeah, copper standards.
Nice.
I see you have your building number on the sign too, that's always good.
I think he included a menu also in the packet.
Yeah. My girlfriend's a professional chef. She's actually going to be the one designing the
Should have
menu.
brought samples.
Yeah, I was gonna just,
I'll have her bring samples, no problem.
So we'll hash everything else out at the public hearing,
Yeah.
which will be the first meeting in September. That's good. All right.
That should be fun.
Anything else, gentlemen?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, I'll be in touch, okay?
Okay.
Public comments on resolutions?
Yeah.
Get the ball coming down.
Huh?
The ball coming down.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, let's run the resolutions, please.
All right, I'll move 2024-053 Prisco's Calverton Acres to classify it as an action pursuant to SECRA, lead agency for the minor subdivision. So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. May we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
And I vote aye, the resolution carries.
We have resolution number 54.
No,
Oh, we tabled it.
55.
It's going to be tabled?
Yep.
You need a motion for that?
Yes, we do.
I move it. So moved.
Second.
Okay, Resolution 54, Prisco's Calverton Acres. It's been moved in second to table. I believe they need some zoning board of appeals determinations. Gentlemen, can we have a vote? Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Resolution number 2024-055, 230 West Main Street Minor Subdivision. Resolution classifying a minor subdivision application seeking approval to subdivide an existing 14,557 square foot parcel of land.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
And I vote aye, the motion carries.
Resolution number 2024-056, Atrium Cafe Site Plan. Resolution to clarify an action pursuant to SECR and schedule a public hearing for the site plan application.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Zolnicki.
Yes.
Mr. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro.
Aye.
Mr. Bear.
Yes?
And I vote aye, the motion carries. Public comments on all matters. No takers. And we're not doing the July 18th?
Yeah, we
minute?
haven't received them
Okay.
yet.
Any other business, staff? Gentlemen? No, I'm gonna do more research on it. Okay. Next meeting.
Okay.
On one of these meetings, Greg, too, I also want to discuss commercial AstroTurf, fake grass on some of these commercial projects we're getting in. They've made a lot of improvements, in the AstroTurf. They really look good, they're green, they don't take any water. I think it's something that we should kind of start, incorporating in some of these commercial applications, backyards or wherever. But we'll have that for another day. I'm looking for some samples that I sent away for.
The one on 3rd Street. Look at the 3rd Street, the
That's
houses.
Astra?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the future, no water, it's got a lot of benefits. Everyone else good?
Good.
Our next meeting is Thursday, August 15th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, Steve.